everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly rundown where we talk movies, TV, music, and video games, but not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. We're redlining the microphone right at the beginning just to check your ears in
I
case
even
they work.
stepped away from the microphone. He'd still hit it.
It still did it. I don't know.
That's how excited I am for this podcast.
That's how excited you are for this podcast. It is May the 8th, 2026. It is episode 537, and we got stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do. So let's get right into it with the music section. Start the music
Mhm.
section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land is, once again, Choosing Texas by Ella Langley. Coming in at 2 and rising number 2 is I Just Might by Bruno Mars.
Just might.
He just might have that number 1 if it wasn't for Ella Langley. At 3, Man, I Need by Olivia Dean. Coming in at 4, Drop Dead by Olivia Rodrigo. And ready at your top 5, Be Hurt by Ella Langley.
Yep, that's Drop Dead dropping from number 1 to number 4.
But it's not dead yet.
No.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, at number 1 is The Great Divide by Noah Kahan. At 2, Dandelion by Ella Langley. At 3, The Problem himself, Morgan Wallen. Coming in at 4, Kalani by Kalani. And right at your top 5, Era Ring by BTS.
Yep, pretty much.
If you like any of those albums, we have new releases, starting with Train on the Island by Aldous Harding. Wired, in all caps, by Basement. Remember the Humans by
Yeah.
Broken Social Scene. Cost of Living Adjustment by Cola. The After Party by Like Lee. Not to be confused with The After Party.
Yeah.
And then The Hotel Lobby.
No, definitely don't confuse it with that.
We also have Dancing on the Wall by Muna. Yes, that Muna. Born to Kill by Social Distortion. Yes, that Social Distortion.
Yeah.
And lastly, Look for Your Mind by the Lemon Twigs.
Did I ever tell you my social distortion story? It's not actually about the band.
I don't think you have.
So at Fullerton in college, I took a intro to music class just as a throwaway elective.
Hmm.
And there was a person in there. She said she was a daughter of one of the Righteous Brothers, which is probably true. And she was telling the professor this, but that's not the funniest thing this person said. During one of the like the chapters, they were talking about like guitar music in the 60s and like the rise of what we call rock and roll. And they were talking specifically the one of the vocab words of the chapter was distortion. And the professor was like, "Yeah, no. So this is around the time that, people start using distortion in their guitars." And this woman, I'm saying woman because she was much older than me at the time. She was probably in her late 20s. Um, she goes, "Wait, who created distortion? Was it social distortion?" I had to try so hard not to laugh in that moment. It was one of the funniest things I had heard. I just like the idea that this woman who it was born to what some would say like an artist born like important to rock and roll DNA and does not understand that social distortion, despite their name, did not create distortion.
No, they're just around for it, though. The social of it.
It always tickles me when I think about it. Anyways,
Anyways, I know
I,
what tickle your fancy.
Oh, what?
Some Charli XCX.
Well, it depends. We'll talk about it.
Okay, well, she's in the news, specifically our music news, as she has released her new single and video, Rock Music. And at 2 minutes, its brevity stands in stark contrast to the outsized amount of discussion it will spark about her new direction in that post Brat era she finds herself. Most crucially, fans now have a chance to decide whether she was being closer to the truth when she was indicating it would be rock music, or when she was laughingly suggesting it wouldn't be rock at all. The answer to all these questions seems to be yes and yes. And whatever it is, or it isn't, her followers are coming together in unison in saying that they are ready for a lot more than just the sub 2 minutes of the snippet that they got. Well, it's
This
not a
is
snippet, it's a
less,
song, but yeah.
yeah, this is less news than it is just an excuse to talk about this thing. Did you listen to this?
No, because I don't follow Charlie XCX.
So to be fair, I don't really follow her in the way that you're describing either. I
Okay.
saw on Blue Sky late last night that she had posted something on YouTube, an official video for this. And so this morning when I woke up, I checked it out. And one, what a wake up call. And two, um, yeah, as the article suggests, it's a little unclear exactly what the goal here is. She said this is going to be a song on a rock album, and the song is called Rock Music. Well, what if I told you that this is just a Charlie XCX song with a guitar in it?
I would say that technically counts, maybe, as rock music, if the
Again,
guitar
no.
is or is not electric and steel.
It's definitely electric. I'll tell you that much. You know what? It's
Okay, so she's
interesting.
not playing that steel ride.
No. It's interesting. I will give her that. And it's very catchy in that Charlie way. It's an earworm. It is very clearly a Charlie XCX song. She is still using autotune. Because late last night, as I was falling asleep, I was kind of idly thinking about, like, what does Charlie even sound like not in a pop song? And I was trying to figure it out in my head. I was thinking, it's like, what is she going to do? Is she going to do like a dry cleaning style, like kind of droll British thing? Or no, turns out nothing at all like that. She's just going to continue being Charlie XCX, continue using the auto tune sound she always uses. And just during the Charlie XCX song, there is guitar riffs happening. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little conflicted. After I heard it, I was like, well, that's not a rock song. And then I realized now that I was just walking into the same trap everybody else is walking into this thing by trying to define it. And as we've said many years on this podcast, genre at this point is so confused and muddled and like everything is everything now. It doesn't really matter if rock music is actually rock music.
I mean, it
But
does matter if it is distortion or not.
yeah, apparently. Well, social distortion, this is not, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's interesting. I am also interested in seeing what the entire project sounds like, but it definitely sounds like that Charlie, when she called this rock music and when she kind of struck up this hype about it, it's a little tongue in cheek, which I guess we should have expected. Like Charlie is being Charlie. She's been spending way too much time with the 1975. Everything has to be a reference to a joke about a reference about something else, and that's just what her deal is now. She can't make anything straight. Nothing is straightforward. So yeah,
Is that a Charlie pun?
no,
That reference?
no, it's not. Not everything's a reference to something.
Oh, you said Charlie's not straightforward, so I just assumed.
Anyways. So yeah, that's rock music. I recommend at least listening to this to see what it is.
All right. Well, if it's not to your rock music liking, I technically have two albums that
Oh
could
yeah.
be up your alley.
Well, I listened to one of them.
Before we get to the one, I don't have it written down here, but I'll just
Okay.
let you know where we're headed because I'm going
Ah.
rogue here. So I caught up on two albums. Both of them happen to be rock albums.
Okay.
Um, Foo Fighters with Your Favorite Toy, not mine, but yours, and Jason Aldean with Songs About Us.
Okay, I want to hear about Foo Fighters first. I'm curious.
Okay. If you like rock music, and I mean heavy guitar,
Uh-huh.
rock music, in your face, screaming rock music, classic Foo Fighter rock music, I got
Mhm.
a new album you should check out. It's called Your
So,
Favorite Toy.
so yeah, so it's like if you like the Foo Fighter songs in which Dave Grohl yells, you'll probably
Yep.
like this.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. But also, if you just like really, really sick guitar licks
Mhm,
and
mhm,
just
mhm.
that just go on and on, and you're like, yes, feed me that guitar straight into my veins, you're gonna like Foo Fighters, Your Favorite Toy.
All right. So how does it
At
rank?
this point, Foo Fighters been around so long that
Yeah.
you either like them or you don't.
So then the question is, how does it rank among their discography? Do you even have a favorite Foo Fighters record? Like, or do you like know and or have you listened to them enough to have one?
Does the best of album count as a favorite Foo Fighters record?
No, but
Okay.
if you must, you must, I suppose.
I must because it has the song Wheels on it, which is not on any other album. Thus, it is a new
Oh,
album.
that is, I didn't realize that was a best of exclusive. Okay,
Yes, it was a best of exclusive. So I guess technically that does count then.
fair. All right, fine.
Uh,
But how does this rank along among their best? Do you think this is a great Foo
um,
Fighters record? Is it a good Foo Fighters record? Like where are we landing?
so considering their last album was We're Still Here, following the death of drummer Taylor Hawkins,
Right.
that it seems like they went on a detour with We're Still Here. Dave Grohl got out
Yeah.
most of like what he needed to help with the grieving process, and now we're back on track with Foo Fighters albums now.
And I do remember liking that actually. I was kind of
I
surprised with how much I liked that record.
I liked it so much I put it on my top five.
You did, yes.
This one
So,
won't be on my top five though,
okay,
but
all
I
right.
do really, really like all the guitar stuff, so it
Yeah.
might sneak its way into the number five spot, depending how the rest of this
Yeah.
year goes.
See how it
But
sticks with you.
will be hard as we'll get to an album later.
Yes, we will. But yes, first though, you have to talk about Jason Aldean, which is, I'm guessing, not the one you're referring to there.
Uh, oh, do you know me?
Well, I just know what we're going to talk about because I listened to it too, and it's not the Jason Aldean record. So
No,
let's get
but
it over with. Let's talk about Mr. Complicated Politics himself.
all right. So Jason Aldean has been very complicated, very his last couple albums have been very around country, but not necessarily the country Jason Aldean that you kind of know and expect. Because once
Sure,
again, someone who's been around for 15 plus years maybe wants to try something else, something new,
sure.
something different. And that's what his last album
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Very similar to Luke Combs, his previous album, Fathers and Sons, very different from his discography. Then he came back with The Way I Am, which was very classic Luke Combs in his tenure and his rock country aesthetic. Same thing here with Jason Aldean in Songs About Us. It is very much that very classic hard country rock that Jason Aldean has kind of known and established as his brand. If you like classic Jason Aldean, I'm talking like pre 2015 Jason Aldean.
Before bro country was a term that was coined and became kind of his brand.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're gonna like Songs About Us. A lot
fair.
more of the songs here are that kind of like rough country. Yes, he still does the whole trucks and drinking and stuff like you typically expect from country, but at least here it is a lot more of that kind of like slow grunt, not grunt, slow gruff country, like chilling on a dirt road. That kind of like Jason Aldean just hits you right in the feels. So there's a lot that I like about this album. Not necessarily the person, but I like the album that I may go back to. Not necessarily immediately go back to, so it may not be like something I'm going to listen to constantly.
Sure, yeah.
But if you do like that classic Jason Aldean sound, you will find Songs About Us more appealing. Again, mileage may vary because it is Jason Aldean.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's more or less what I figured this was going to be. I feel like enough time has passed where it's like, okay, he's also probably trying to course correct his career just a tiny bit, probably to get more people who jumped ship.
You
Which,
think?
yeah, after his wife started saying stuff maybe she shouldn't have said.
You
Um,
think someone in his management team said, "Hey, let's go back to the classics.
right.
Let's go back to the hits and reestablish something here."
I do wonder how much of that is, yeah, is his label being like, hey, you still need to be played on the radio, and not all markets are going to be chill with this. So, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yep,
Back to basics record.
pretty much that's what it feels like.
All right.
All right.
Speaking of back to basics record,
Yep, we're gonna talk about album of the year here, Midland with
what?
Stages.
That's not what we were supposed to talk
But
about.
okay, we're not gonna talk about Midland yet because the album
No.
releases on June 12th.
Yeah, you
But
can't call it yet.
five
We're a month
songs
out.
of the 10 songs are currently out. So I think I can pretty much call it.
I mean, to be fair, I may have heard my album of the year today as well, but I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast. It's just for me.
What? I
Hey there.
share my Midland love with everyone.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, let's come together then and share our love of Media Boat favorite and Grammy
Yes.
Award winning
Yeah.
Kacey Musgraves.
Yes.
Uh,
After two
uh,
records that
yeah.
were okay,
Well,
one better than
Starcrossed
the other.
was, coming off the high
Yeah,
of Golden
it
Hour.
was fine.
Starcrossed was very different, and people may or may not may not have liked it at the time, but I think are coming around to it more the more times come and pass.
Maybe.
Deeper Well, mixed results, even with the Deeper
You
Well.
know, that record's good,
Mhm.
I think is what I'll say. I
I
think
know it's
I
good.
liked
It
it.
was also on my top five at the end of the year.
So I do think I liked it better than Starcross, but I do think that both records, I think, were written from Casey that was in a very tender place. Like, I think that, like, she was going through some things, some feelings, during both of those rollouts, and it definitely reflects on the music.
Hmm.
I also think that the runaway success critically of Golden Hour meant that she couldn't just do that again. I feel like she felt that she had to try new things, stretch out a little bit, but at the same time, it also felt like she also wasn't ready to like return to the country sound either. Like she wanted to keep expanding into kind of psychedelic territory, a little bit dance pop territory. She just kept expanding, and I feel like it does those records a disservice because they're too wide, and the quality thus is mixed. I think that the wider the canvas, the more chances I think you take at not every corner being well painted, I guess is the metaphor I would use. Then comes this thing, which is different.
Right. From the middle of nowhere. Name of the
You
album.
could say that. Um, it's interesting. This record, as we kind of mentioned last week, we kind of knew ahead of time and from the singles that it's a little bit more country this time. She got some members of the production team that she worked with for her first two records, which are very solidly country. And the result is a record that I do think, for the most part, does return to that comfort zone that she was in earlier in her career. But I don't think it's easy to call it 100% a return to form or a 100% like back to basics record. I do think there are a few songs that do feel like they are post Golden Hour, that she's learned a lot of technique and lessons from that era of her career. I do think that looking back, Starcrossed and Deeper Well are necessary steps because I do think that experimentation does pay off here. And I will say, before I kind of lay down how I feel about the record as a whole, I do say that the first half is probably stronger than the second, even though there are a couple bangers toward the end. But overall, This is a really good record. I really enjoyed it. I think that it's the best that she's done since Golden Hour. I do think it's a solid number two. Um, a- and yeah, I just think it's not like, I don't think this is album of the year. I don't think this is like maybe even for me, but I was speaking of Grammys, but like, I mean, even personally, but I was definitely not disappointed in this. This definitely delivered what I was hoping it would.
And I get where you're coming from because this does feel like the two sides of Casey, the pop and the country, coming together, where the
Hmm.
first half is more poppy and more of a traditional Casey that we've come to know and love, whereas the back half is more of that old school country Casey that is still there, and she still, I don't know if I'll play it's homage to it, but still tries to root herself in that country scene. But it's a tough line to walk going back and forth. But I do like a lot of these songs on this
Yes.
album.
That is the key here, is that I think that the highs on this thing are incredibly high. That makes up for the a couple of lows towards the like back end. I don't really understand what she was trying to do on the Willie Nelson song. It doesn't work for me production wise at all. There's two songs back to back that I thought the production bugged me. And I
Hmm.
was like, what's going on? Like, this was so good until we got here. But then right after it picks back up, and I'm like, okay, okay, that was just, I don't know what's going on in this like back middle. But like besides that though, yeah, I really think that there are some amazing, amazing songs on this record.
Now, she did perform several of these songs during her surprise set at Coachella for weekend two. So we, at least going into it, I had some knowledge of like, okay, I know what these songs are. I've heard them at least once, but like hear them like not blaring through Prime Video in their low quality stream.
Right.
Um, I got well appreciate them more. I do think Uncertain Texas kind of falls into that middle ground of where exactly does this land? Although that may be the purpose of the song with calling it Uncertain Texas.
Maybe, yeah.
But Dry Spell and Horses and Divorces hits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh yeah, Horses and Divorce is a very interesting song too, because it's
It's a meta song,
yeah, it's
and I
so
love it.
meta. And it definitely it's so interesting in this time where I think a lot of people are thinking about Miranda Lambert in a different light after she like played the inauguration and she's made
Mhm.
some comments about some certain things. It's very interesting to have a song about them not getting talking about not getting along because I bet that's true. I bet these two probably do disagree about certain things, but to see them come together and make a cute song about it is welcome. I didn't love the song again. That's one of the ones actually that's the other production that I didn't love. Um, but it is neat that they did it.
It does feel, I don't get where you're coming from with the production because it does feel at times that they're trying to like battle for the spotlight here, but I guess that's also like the point of the song.
I guess so. I think what I'm getting at is I think some of the stuff I just don't like. Remember a while back, a couple of years ago, I talked about Zach Bryan and how I didn't like how
Hmm.
he records everything up here next to the mic and everything's hot. That's going to be
Hmm.
awful for the audio. I'm sorry. Uh,
Is that what
she
I
does
sound
that
like?
a couple times on this record, and I don't like it. And that's the thing. And I think that, well, she was on that last Zach Bryan record, so this makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. That kind of thing, that style does not work for me. I get it's supposed to be like raw, but like, whatever. I'd rather take a great, like, I'd rather take something that sounds like Golden Hour, honestly. And most of this does. So besides a couple of moments. But yeah, I really, yeah, I think the highs are definitely in the first half. I really like Back on the Wagon. You
Hmm.
mentioned Dry Spell. I like Coyote. Like there's a really cool. Oh, and Loneliest Girl is a bop. Like there's some really, really solid songs on this thing.
I feel like Loneliest Girl was retreading the Lonely Weekend.
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about that song.
Oh, I have that Golden Hour album has been playing nonstop here because it's Someone Awesome's new favorite album.
Aw, that's cute. At least he has good taste.
No, he's forced to have good taste. But also he also likes Ella Langley, who sings a song
Well,
with which mentions Abilene, and there's a song called Abilene here. So I'm kind of curious as to which songwriter is currently working with both of them and just has a really deep hatred of Abilene.
We could find this out. Anyway. All right. But yeah, to wrap it up, yeah, I think this will definitely be something that I stick with throughout the year. We'll see if it ends up landing in our top fives. We'll see if it has that much staying power. But as a record, I mean, that's like it's bad and pretty good average for me. And I definitely think it is a great addition to Casey's catalog.
Hey, even in baseball, 3 out of 10 times means you're pretty good.
Yeah, turns out. Although I do not use that. If I use that for a record, every record would be amazing. Like, I don't know about that. Like, oh, I liked 3 out of these 13 songs. Woo. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, anyways, yeah. So that was Middle of Nowhere, Casey
Yep.
Musgraves. Mileage may vary because of the front half and the back half, but definitely give it a listen. And if you're not cracking up at Dry Spell, you're doing it wrong. All right. Well then, are you not gonna partell us with the other record that you
Oh,
listened
I
to?
guess I'll mention it really briefly, but the new Future Teens record is out. And I think the thought that I kept having is if music's job, or like to me, this is what I at least think about music. If music's effectiveness is based on your emotional reaction to it, if art is supposed to evoke some sort of emotion, then Future Teens' new record is probably the best thing I've heard all year. I got goosebumps like 4 or 5 times, and it's not a very long record. So I love that band. If you don't know what they are, they're kind of I guess you could call them emo leaning, but not really. They're poppy emo songs, if you could even call them an emo record, band. But I think people like to use that because they talk a lot about like mental health struggles, like depression. A lot of their songs are about, man, life sucks because of X, Y, and Z. But the production and the sound of these songs is poppy and fun and like heavy guitars and like so it kind of counteracts the fact that a lot of it is pretty depressing. This album in particular is really moving because it talks a lot about one of the members' sobriety and kind of his struggles with that, and also it's post one of the members' transition. So there's a song about that as well. There's a song that gets political about the current moment in anti-trans, kind of like transphobic politics, and it's like, yeah, it's just I've always liked them. Like for like, God, I think their first record came out in 2018, 2017. So like, so a handful of years ago. But man, every single one of the records knocks it out of the park. I really, really like this one.
All right. That's Future Teens.
Yeah,
The
Future
band
Teens
or
is
the
called,
album?
that's the band, and the new record is called Still Life.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying because Future Teens could be also be the name of an album.
You could be.
It's just the kind of music to listen to.
Yeah, never
Okay.
know. All right.
So high chance of it sticking around then?
Oh yeah, this is something I'm going to return to. Their albums usually are high on repeat for me. So
Okay, because I think it's the first time you've mentioned Future Teens. I don't think it's
maybe
popped up in any of your previous
because I think
top
honestly their
singles.
last one was probably at the time I listened to it, I was a little disappointed in it and ended up growing on me a lot. And so I don't think it ended up on my top five the year that it came up because of that. But I think in the years of over the years that have passed since that record came out, I think I've liked it more and more.
Okay. Well, Future Teens. If you want to listen to what Matt's listening to, you
Check it out.
can check them out.
All right, let's move out of music because we've been spending a lot of time in here.
Well, yeah, that's the bulk of what we're going to talk about because the
Yeah,
rest of this
not much going
should go
on.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
Starting with video games. We start video games with new releases. And we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Again?
Well, if you didn't play it on any of the consoles that you could have played it on, or PC, it's now available on Switch too, because they got it to work somehow.
They did. Well, actually, from what I heard is that it's apparently running pretty well on the Switch. So, congratulations to them. So, yeah, Switch 2 version should be just as good.
All right. We also have, for those of you interested in Battlestar Galactica, Battlestar Galactica, Scattered Hopes for the PC.
Yep.
And we also have Directive 8020, a Dark Pictures game for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X.
Yep, that continues the Dark Pictures series, which you've played one of those, right?
Yeah, I played one
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah. So, you know what
Yeah.
those are. It's a horror adventure
Movie.
style solve like
Choose your
yeah,
own
like
adventure.
choose
Yes.
your own adventure. Kind of like Until Dawn.
Choose your own death, more likely.
Yeah, more likely.
All right. But let's get into some video game news. And hey, we're going back to Nintendo for the
I
bits.
didn't even realize that they were all Nintendo, so thank you for changing that. I
Zero.
literally had games bits, but yeah, you're right. They all are all three Nintendo stories.
Yep. So we're going to start with a veteran Nintendo designer, Takahashi Tezuka, who has directed some of the company's most influential games, according to some, stretching back to the original Super Mario Brothers.
Hmm.
Well, he's been around for so long that he's officially retiring from the company.
Yes. So we knew that this was going to happen eventually, that eventually the game developers that we grew up with in the 80s, well, not us because we weren't born then, but you know what I mean. Like, we're there at kind of the onset of console gaming and are still here, are going to start retiring. They're getting very old. And it turns out that, yes, it's finally hit Nintendo. Not the one that we thought it was going to be first, but yes, Tezuka is very important. Um, he worked on a lot of Mario games, a lot of Zelda games, especially. For a while, he was kind of seen as Miyamoto's number two. He was kind of like the guy who directed the games that Miyamoto didn't have time to direct, like in the N64 era and
Mhm.
after. But yeah, definitely left an indelible legacy in Nintendo. But Nintendo's been doing a good job of kind of staffing younger and highlighting younger people in their company over the last 10 years. And I think that they're ready to kind of take the mantle and run with it. And Miyamoto's still there. For how much longer? Who knows? Maybe he'll just end up working at Illumination full time.
Right, but that's part of like Nintendo's that they like to promote from within. If you're there
Yeah.
for the company for a long time,
Yes.
you're
It
going
is.
to get
Yeah.
promoted within.
It's a very Japanese style. They're run in a very Japanese tradition, and that does mean, yeah, you never get fired. You stay there for your life, and you retire from the company that you worked
What?
at.
Nintendo
I know.
employing Japanese practices?
Yeah. What do you know?
What a
What
concept.
a concept. What else are they doing?
Well, they're not employing the Japanese concept in keeping their customers happy
Well, it depends, but sure.
because Nintendo has confirmed that, much like all the other consoles out there right now, the Switch 2 will also be getting a rise in price. So if you did not get your Switch 2 already,
Mhm.
pointing directly at my face, unfortunately, you now have to shell out a couple more shekels.
Yeah. So this is going up $50.
Yes, that's it,
Um,
just
yeah.
$50,
On
which
launch,
is less than the price of a Nintendo Switch 2 game.
that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, it launched at 450. It is going up to 500. Of
Hmm.
course, it was already 500 if you got the bundle with Mario Kart World.
Yep.
This, of course, does not include bundle. This is just the base unit. So yeah, everything will likely, if they do another bundle, that will also probably go up to 500, to 550 potentially. Yeah, I think that their hand was forced here for a couple of reasons. I do think that having no resolution for the tariff stuff was part of this, but also I think it's also Nintendo looking at the price of memory going up. That probably also affects this. Also, more broadly speaking, you have a lot of prices going up due to the worldwide oil shortage. Shipping is harder to do when there's not enough gas to fuel the ships. So we're seeing kind of this widespread happening. So it's basically a lot of stuff, a lot of factors all at once that are making this happen. And I do think that Nintendo was really adamant about trying not to do this in the US. And this is finally them waving the white flag and be like, I guess we have to.
I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, it's a business. And
Yeah.
I know we're not really a political podcast, but I did hear that companies could apply for rebates on those tariffs.
Well, that's what I was kind of referring to is that there was no when I said there was no resolution to that, I'm saying that Nintendo did sue and
Mhm.
was trying to get that money and presumably is not going to get it, is what I'm saying. So I think that that's part of this decision.
Right. They held out as long as they could.
Right. I think they did.
Well,
But there is a laugh story that's a little bit more palatable, I think, for a certain kind of Nintendo fan.
and especially for one fan who bought shares in the company to specifically ask when Star Fox.
Well,
Well,
here's Star Fox.
yes, in Super Mario Brothers movie,
No, 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 no.
Galaxy movie.
He's back in Switch
Well,
2 form.
yes, because being in a billion-dollar movie does that for a franchise.
Turns out.
Because Nintendo has announced a new Star Fox game for
Well,
Nintendo Switch 2.
new is a statement.
Well, it's simply titled Star Fox, and
Hmm.
it'll be released on June 25th, which they revealed it's not really a new game, like you mentioned. It's a remake of Star Fox 64 from the Nintendo 64.
Okay, let's break this down because I do think that this has caused a little bit of controversy. Star
Hmm.
Fox 64, don't get me wrong, is a great game. I loved Star Fox 64. I played it a lot when it came out. It shipped with the Rumble Pack, so it's the reason why most people had a Rumble Pack, and it used the hell out of that Rumble Pack. It was a really fun sensation. It was the first time anybody had felt that. It was pre DualShock. So yeah, Christmas '97, a lot of fun with Star Fox 64. But they already remade Star Fox 64. It was on the 3DS. And so that makes this the second remake of Star Fox 64. And if you want to get even more technical, Star Fox 64 is kind of a loose remake of Star Fox, the original game for the Super Nintendo. So, technically speaking, some people are saying this is like the fourth time they've remade Star Fox. But that's neither here nor there. The news that matters here is that this is a complete graphical upgrade. The character designs are weirdly realistic. I
Hmm.
honestly don't like them, but and I do think they have been very divisive for fans. I think a lot of people are saying, "What? They don't look cute anymore." It's a choice for sure, but it does show off the horsepower of the Switch 2. It's running at 60 frames, which is something no Star Fox game has done before. And it does include some new stuff, including some, I believe, if not an entire campaign, at least a handful of missions with Fox's father, Fox McCloud's father, James McCloud. So a little bit extra Star Fox story lore for you. But if you like Star Fox 64 and that is a good game, or if you missed it the first time and you have a Switch 2, I do think that it will be either a nostalgic or a cool new experience for people, depending on where you land on that fence. For me, I'm going to skip it.
Even though you can do co-play with it, where one is the pilot, one is the shooter,
It's
one's
a
the
neat
gunner.
idea. And also, they showed off some weirdly VTuber adjacent stuff you can do with the game chat camera,
Yeah,
where your mouth is Star Fox's mouth, which is a choice.
yeah. You could
Weird.
be Star Fox with those
I'd rather,
cameras.
you know me, I'd rather be Slippy Toad.
You could be Slippy Toad with the
you,
camera.
you can be Slippy Toad. That's a threat. Anyway. Yeah, this looks fine. I don't know. This isn't for me, though it is coming out pretty soon in like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
So it's
I
like,
do see
yeah,
why they're calling it a remake, though. I do believe that this is kind of following in the Final Fantasy VII remake,
yes,
where, yeah, it is Final Fantasy VII. You've played Final Fantasy VII. Yes, it is Star Fox. You've played Star Fox.
right.
But we're going to take some liberties to expand on it, like
Yeah.
you said, with James McLeod.
Yeah, I do think that yeah, I do hope that they add a lot because that's one thing that Star Fox 64 is not a long game.
Hmm.
Like it is kind of arcade style where you kind of it's meant to be played multiple times on multiple difficulty levels. It's also known for having branching paths, so you can take like a shortcut in a level and completely skip something and then go down a different way of the path. And so I really hope that they maybe add more missions, maybe like more modes, maybe bring back and fix the multiplayer stuff that wasn't great in the first time around. So yeah, like I do think there's opportunity here. Um, but ultimately it's just that game again in a lot of ways. And so yeah, I don't know. It's hard to for me personally to be excited. I'm really hoping they would make a new game.
It is a new game. For some, it's a new game.
Some people, yeah, the old NBC
If
slogan: "If you haven't seen it, it's new to you."
if you haven't played it, it's new to you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well,
It's
uh,
video games.
have you played anything then?
Oh, we've been spending more time with Tomodachi Life. You know
Oh
we
no,
have.
I know
There's
you
been
have.
so many more developments. Pedro Pascal, Deborah Vance from Hacks, and Michael B. Jordan have all moved into our island.
Okay.
Julianne Moore got rejected by Taylor Swift the first time, but then tried again, and she said yes, so they are currently dating. Oh, British host and model Alexa Chung is now married to Marty Mauser from Marty Supreme.
I'm sure Christy is
Um,
disappointed.
yeah, that didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work between them, nor my character and her character. We actually were sweethearts, as the game calls it, for about a day, and then I dumped her in the game.
Wow. How could you?
I know. We
Or how
were we
could
were
me?
Yeah, we were both upset about it. We were both just baffled by that choice. Um, Ken Jennings is on our island and he's maybe hitting it off with Carly Rae Jepsen. We'll see how that goes. Oh yeah. Also, Christy did end up getting into a relationship with host of Survivor Jeff Probst. They're married.
Really?
Yes. So it was funny
You
when
do
we were
not
watching.
extinguish our torch?
No, not yet. Although he does have the catchphrase "The tribe has spoken,"
Okay.
so he has said that. Um, But yeah, last thing I'll say is when we were watching Survivor last night, I just kept saying to Christy, "That's your husband," which was very entertaining. Anyway, so that's the Tomodachi Life update. The game remains being a fever dream, and it's a crazy experience.
Well, you enjoy it, you crazy kids.
Oh,
Uh,
they wanted to have a kid, and we said no. I asked Christy if she wanted to have children on the island, and she said no. And so we told Christy she could not have a kid with Jeff Probst.
wow.
Yeah.
The government got involved.
Yeah. No child policy.
All child are left behind.
Yeah, it turns out in our island. All right. Anyways.
All right. Yeah, I've been playing more Pragmatic. I'm still trying to get to the end and beat that game. But only limited time to play. But I'm further, and I like it. And I don't say I'm pretty good at it, but I feel like I'm pretty good at it.
I mean, it sounds like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go over then into television, where we start with the sports corner.
The sports corner.
And for 151 years, people have been going to Kentucky on the first weekend of May, wearing their big floppy hats, drinking those mint juleps, and watching some ponies race.
Indeed.
Why we've been doing it for continuous 150 years is, a question to be answered next year when it comes around yet again. But we do have a winner for the Kentucky Derby, and it was Golden Tempo, who, in a dramatic fashion, came from literally back of the pack to the front to win it by a head, literal head in a photo finish towards the end. With Golden Tempo winning the Kentucky Derby, it does mean that trainer Sherry DeVoe has become the first female trainer in the Derby's history to win the race.
Yeah.
Note that is the Kentucky Derby, because there was a previous female trainer who won in the Belmont. So she's not the first to do it in the Triple Crown, but first to do it at the Kentucky Derby. And now Golden Tempo is on the clock for the Triple Crown. All other horses, better luck next year.
Yeah.
Other than that, sports is kind of slow because it's all kind of the same things that are happening.
Yeah,
NFL is in a hiatus right now until training camp begins in July 15th. Some deals are being made, but that's just free agency for you.
yeah.
Over in the playoffs, the NBA continues in the uh, second round, the quarterfinals, with the Thunders, Pistons, and the Knicks taking commanding leads of 2-0 games. And over in the NHL, the Avalanche, the Sabres, and the Hurricanes also taking the lead at 2-0.
Mhm.
And because we're slowly getting into the dog days of summer, baseball is everywhere, as your eyes can see.
And pitchers, right in time for the beginning of summer, are getting hurt, which happens
Yeah,
every
yeah.
season. Tarek Skubal, the reigning Cy Young winner, has gone down, and he is going to get shoulder surgery, which means that he'll be out for a indeterminate amount of time. This has sent uh, people screaming, whether if you have him say on your fantasy team or if you're uh, a fan of the Tigers, which yeah, we'll see how the
Well,
Tigers
didn't
react.
they just pay Scooball all that money and go through
Yeah,
arbitration?
yeah, uh-huh. It's pretty brutal for Detroit. If you're a fan or if you're on the team, their pitching options are limited. Also, in Detroit pitching news, Framber Valdez, former Houston pitcher, had decided to purposefully hit a guy and has been suspended for 6 games. So, yeah, they're gonna have to get creative, I think, a little bit with pitching in Detroit for at least a week or two,
At least a week. Well,
or
my
maybe the
God.
whole season, depending on how long Scooble's out. It definitely makes you wonder how the playoff picture will end up looking if they don't have their ace to open.
Oh, you think they're going to make the playoffs?
That's exactly my point. We'll see.
Well, they
There's a little bit
might
of a shakeup.
because, yeah, as with most stuff, will you take a quick look over at the standings? And
Yes.
the Cubs currently on a steamer 9-game win streak. Of
Yep.
course, on the other side, the
Hmm.
Cincinnati Reds also on a steamer
Yeah. Of the
with an
bad
eight
kind.
game losing streak.
Which is unfortunate because right before that, they looked like one of the better teams in the league, and now the skid has proven that a little wrong. Yeah, pretty much the narrative right now in baseball is, wow, what's going on with the American League?
Mhm. I mean, things have been flipping and flopping
Yeah,
constantly in
it's
each
rough.
division.
It's really rough looking. And meanwhile, though, yeah, the National League looks super competitive, and yeah, I don't know. They're playing great baseball over there. Too bad we can't have it. Too
No,
bad we can't have it too.
it's over there. It's on their side.
It has resurrected a fan discussion about the possibility of them realigning at some point the leagues. I saw a graphic going around that some Fox Sports person had made up, which was
Hmm.
basically like completely rearranging and putting, like, for example, the Angels, the Padres, and the Dodgers all in the same division, which I'm like, what are you talking about? That would be an awful idea as an Angels fan. Please don't do that.
Well, just add the Giants, just called the Californias.
It was actually the
Yes,
Giants. I think it was like the
yeah, the
Western Division or
Californians.
something like that. And I was like, oh boy. Yeah, the
Well,
Californians.
well, and then you have
Every
the
time another
A's,
team shows up, I
where
would
they
just say, what are you doing here?
here.
Yeah, the A's somehow were not in there because they will be in Vegas, so presumably when this move would happen. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Anyways, I take a quick look at our home runs leader. We have Aaron Judge with
Yeah.
15, Minetaka Murakami with
Uh-huh.
14,
Yeah.
Matt Olson with
Hey, what's your
13.
point? What's your point by
Huh?
saying these specific names?
I'm just saying that with all these players, they're just hitting one home run after another.
Hey, Yordan Alvarez and was named was named an AL Player of the Month last month. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he's also on Houston, which we hate.
Well, I make exceptions sometimes. All right, let's
Personal
finish up
exceptions.
talking. Do you have anything else to say about baseball? Because I have a couple things I want to mention before we
Uh,
leave sports.
yes, go ahead.
With I guess because this is now my beat on the show with women's sports news.
Yes.
Because I guess no, if you're not going to talk about them, I guess I have to.
I talk about that every now and then.
The WNBA starts tonight. The first games, one of them is actually happening right now. The Valkyries against the Seattle Storm. That's the Golden State Valkyries, that is.
Okay,
Um,
that's why I keep seeing a lot of Caitlin Clark news just being
yes,
shoved on my face
that
right
is
now.
why. The
Okay.
WNBA starts tonight. Tonight, Connecticut Sun and the New York Liberty, and the Washington Mystics and the Toronto Tempo. The Toronto Tempo making their debut in tonight's game. They are brand new team.
And they have already lost to the Mystics 68 to 65.
Oh
Meanwhile,
well.
the Liberty have won their first game against the Suns
Congratulations.
106 to 75.
We'll have to just wait a little, wait a day. Tomorrow will be the first game for the reigning champs, the Las Vegas Aces.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, in women's sports updates, the AUSL has officially announced their broadcast partners for their upcoming season. The season starts in June, and they've announced that they, just like regular baseball, are spread out. They've made multiple deals, not just one. So looks like some games will be on CBS Sports. Some games will be on ESPN and ESPN2. A handful of games will be on MLB TV, and some will even be deep in cable on ESPNU. There's one exception, though. At the very end in the postseason, there will be one game in the championship series that will be broadcast on network television on ABC. That will be July 25th. But besides that, yes, you will have to have ESPN access as well as access to a lot of those other channels I mentioned in order to see every AUSL game.
This does bring up something that I really peeved my peeve.
Yes.
Yes. So I was trying to watch the basketball game last night, the playoff game.
Yeah.
It was Lakers Thunder.
Right.
I had seen that the Lakers played the Thunder on Peacock like the day before. So I turned on Peacock.
Yeah.
Game wasn't on. I thought, okay, this must be a TNT game then. I go
No.
to HBO Max for some TNT. Wasn't on there. I thought, huh, that's weird. Maybe it's on ESPN through ABC. So I turned on ESPN. Wasn't there either. I thought, okay, that's
Hmm.
weird. Let me check Hulu. Wasn't there either. I checked my phone because I thought I was going crazy that the game was on, but I
Yeah.
wasn't seeing it. Turns out the game was hidden, buried in Prime Video. Why it was on Prime
Wow.
Video, I do not know.
These are great questions, and I cannot answer them for you
Because money, that's the answer. But
because
still,
money.
like for me not having so when you're trying to promote like, oh, the game's gonna be on Prime Video, would someone on Peacock promote that the next game's not gonna be on their station? Well, it's like, oh, next time you guys want to see them, you gotta go to someone else, a competitor. Doesn't seem in their best interest to do that, does it?
No.
So with all these games spread out, it seems like you there should be one central location, like an app that the NBA runs to tell you where the games are being played. It'd be great if there's
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Like an NBA app or something.
Hey, I don't name things. But yes, very frustrating that all these
Yeah.
playoff games are so spread out and have to go and hunt for them.
I agree. But
Anyways,
I mean, this is not a new complaint. I feel like the
no.
last handful of years, sports fans have been talking about how crazy it is to watch anything like at this point
Oh
because
yeah,
of
it was
how
also a thing with
many
the
deals there are.
NFL, especially not just playoffs, but towards the end of the season, where you had some games on Netflix, you had some games on Prime, you had some games on Peacock, then you had some games on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
it was all spread out all across the place, especially at the end, towards the end of the season, where you're trying to watch your team make it to the playoffs, but because they're playing on separate games, separate days,
Yeah.
like okay, where am I watching this game?
It's tough. Yeah.
Yes, the streaming chaos is here. If only there was some place where all the sports could be locally. sourced.
Locally
Like
sourced?
a venue where I can just go to one spot and like a venue, and it just all comes to me. Wouldn't that be something?
It's too bad that that idea will never ever happen.
I know, because monopoly and antitrusts and all that.
Yeah.
But I
Anyways.
feel like if you had a company with enough money here for the NBA and enough money here for the NFL and enough money to just like bring everything in into one location, you know, kind of like a sports network that just also does like entertainment. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like an entertainment sports network. Wouldn't that be a concept?
All right. You keep doing this.
I okay.
Anyways,
Anyways, let's get
let's
out of
move on.
sports.
Yeah, let's move on. All right, let's talk about television news. And our television news story takes us to the world of late night. And as you well know, Stephen Colbert's days are numbered. No, don't worry, he's not dying. He's not gonna get killed or anything. But his show, however, will be ending. He'll be signing off of his CBS program on May 21st, but is going out with a list of high-profile names. On May 11th, Colbert will interview Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver, the co-hosts of the podcast Strike Force 5 that you may remember, that aired during the 2023 writers and actors strikes. May 14th, we'll see David Letterman take the couch instead of the desk as a guest. Other guests stopping by the late show as it winds down include John Krasinski, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Pedro Pascal, and Tom Hanks. So he'll make sure it's a memorable final week of the show, which makes sense if you're going out. I don't think we've had a moment like this really since the last Carson
hmm
week. So yeah, it's going to be tearful goodbyes. It's going to be an emotional experience. Stephen Colbert is an emotional guy, so I'm sure he's
Yep.
going to. You won't be able to stop this man from crying. Just get ready for that.
Now, I'm not a betting man, and I don't know this, but I'm going to say that his last guest on his show is probably going to be his wife.
Maybe,
At least it should be.
maybe,
It seems fitting.
or Jon Stewart.
Jon
I could
Stewart,
see
no,
that.
well, no,
I could
he
see
just always
that.
shows up. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
there's like
but
an actual guest. He just shows up.
but kind of as like like as credit where credit is due for like giving him his break. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So
Or
we'll see.
you have Conan just be like, all right, let me show you the way
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Cohen's the expert here. He knows
Yes.
all about losing a late night show multiple times, actually.
It'd be great. Like, yes, I've
Turns
done this
out.
multiple times. Just come
Yeah.
on, let me show you
I've done it
this
before.
world outside of the desk.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyways, yeah, he ends in 2 weeks, and then no more late show.
Yep, yep, yep.
Until they decide to resurrect it because of ratings.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, short, sweet. Let's move on.
All right. Okay, let's move on into cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
Well, as we knew, the fifth season of The Bear will be its last. That is according to FX. Although, we should mention, there was a surprise drop of a special on Hulu that is a prequel of sorts to The Bear, featuring a couple of the characters. That is up on Hulu. It's an hour-long special. We have not watched it yet, but maybe we will before next week. I don't know.
Now, if you're out there and you're confused, why haven't I seen this special? That's because they titled it Gary
Yeah, it's just
for
called
Gary,
Gary.
Indiana.
Right.
For
Yes.
some reason, they're going to Gary, Indiana.
Yeah,
But
sure do.
if you're just looking like, why is this thing called Gary? That is why. It is a bear
That's why.
special 1 hour.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they don't put the 1 hour part of their episodes for the season 5, so
Yeah,
they're
well,
doing it here as a special one-off. Because if it doesn't have Jeremy Allen White, it doesn't count as a bear episode.
I guess not. All right. All right, let's move on. Next up, Going Dutch has been canceled after 2 seasons on Fox. The
Oh
Night,
no.
I know. The Night Agent will end after its fourth season on Netflix.
Yep, that's currently in production.
Yep. Brilliant Minds has been canceled after 2 seasons on NBC.
Zachary Quinto is once again available for employment now.
Stumble has stumbled after its first season and will end.
Yeah,
Next up,
that's,
R.J. Decker on ABC will get a second season.
I
Yeah, sure.
guess.
I guess somebody's watching that. And then NBC has confirmed that Law and Order will get a 26th season. Of course, depending on how you number it, 26 in total, but they kind of brought it back after it was canceled. So yeah, I don't know.
Yes, and that's why SVU has more seasons than Law and Order
Right.
proper.
Somehow. Fox will be bringing back Murder in a Small Town for a third season. Netflix will be bringing back Temptation Island for a third season as well. That is the current modern version, not the Fox original.
Hmm.
SNL UK will get a second season on Sky Peacock here in the US.
Yep.
And the best news I've heard all day, someone is going to be very excited to hear this. She just walked in. The rise and fall, or sorry, the fall and rise of Reggie Dinkins will get a second season confirmed. So it will come back. Yeah, we have a little party going on back here.
Yep. I just finished that this past week,
Oh,
and
you hadn't caught up yet.
no, I finished it now.
You were
Yes.
behind. Oh, yeah. I like how they ended it, where it was very much like, oh, we're writing this to be the last episode of the season, but just
Yes.
in case
Yeah.
it's not, here's the continuing story. Yeah,
A
it was
Tina
cute.
Fey special.
Uh-huh. Yeah, always. All right. And then next up, we have a few deaths to talk about. Actually, just a couple. First up, we have David Kendall, age 68, was a writer and producer, worked on Boy Meets World and Growing Pains. So some pretty significant 80s, 90s sitcoms there.
Hmm.
68's not that old, but leaving a television legacy behind for sure.
Yeah, but when you realize that he was like 28
Yeah,
when
it's
30, like when
impressive.
these came off, yeah.
That is true. That is true. And then, but the other one that we need to talk about, speaking of leaving a television legacy, Mr. Ted Turner passed away this past week at age 87. If you don't know who he is, you're probably under 30. Um, he, of course, is a Hall of Fame media proprietor. He, of course, was the person with the seed of the idea that became CNN. His Turner Broadcasting Corporation is responsible for creating the first 24-hour news channel, and its impact has basically changed how news works and how it's reported and the depth it can be reported on. Of course, he also owned a sports team for a while. He owned the Atlanta Braves. There's a reason why you could only watch it on TBS for a while. And of course, founded television network, the Turner Broadcasting System, one of the very early cable success stories. He was kind of known as a cable visionary at the time, seeing kind of opportunity in the space where a lot of people were just seeing kind of a vacuum. And it ended up transforming how television worked in a lot of ways. Of course, I mean, you could go rattle off all the rest of the Turner
Yes.
empire, Turner Classic Movies, TNT, of
TNT.
course. Cartoon Network was his
Hmm.
idea as well. Turner was a kind of a pretty well-known studio name until they were purchased in the late 90s by Warner Brothers. So if you're wondering where all that stuff is now, it is technically Warner Brothers, which means yes, Ted Turner passed right before his company's stuff got passed on yet again to another corporate owner. So I don't know what he would have thought about that. Of course, that's the
Yeah.
business side. We can also briefly talk about the personal side of the man. He was a climate activist, which is something that you don't really associate with CEOs of companies. At least you don't anymore. Of course, he also famously dated Jane Fonda, was married to Jane Fonda for a period of time. Yeah, if you look at old quotes, again, kind of surprising positions. But of course, the ultimate fun fact is he liked climate stuff so much it was his idea to make Captain Planet. Yes, Ted Turner was
Mhm.
responsible for Captain Planet. Every 90s kid's guilty pleasure. So there you go.
Yep.
So somewhere he is enjoying uniting all those rings together.
Yep. And the one thing you left off of his Wikipedia page that you were reading,
I'm not actually.
I
He's
know,
from the dome, man.
he tried to set up a competitor to the Olympics that they shouldn't have a monopoly on competition.
That's
And
right.
so
I forgot
he set
about
up
that.
the Goodwill Games.
Well, there's a
And
reason
if,
why those don't happen anymore.
well, one, they don't happen anymore, but two, if that name sounds familiar, it's because you watched and loved D2, The Mighty Ducks, where they competed in the Goodwill Games.
So
And
I
no,
did
that was
not.
not created just for the
Yeah.
movie.
So I did not watch that movie, so I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yes, that was not
Anyways,
made up for the Mighty Ducks. That was an
good to
actual
know.
thing that happened.
So R.I.P. Ted Turner. Go watch a colorized movie in his memory. Actually, don't. That's the one bad idea he had. All right, let's move on. Don't colorize old movies. It's a bad idea. Movies. Speaking of movies, let's go into the movie section, where we always start with the weekend box office. And for the first time in weeks, I can say I took a win.
So close. Well, not well.
Not
16 million is
really.
pretty close. Oh wait, what am I doing there?
What are you doing there? You're not gonna give yourself a point.
No, I've been doing it for 2 weeks straight. I figured, oh, I'll just do
Yeah,
it again.
just odd muscle memory is saying that
Yes,
you
but
win
hey,
this
that
one.
brings you back to 500 at
It
eight and
does.
eight.
Sure enough, because your number one movie was The Devil Wears Prada 2 to the tune of $76 million. That puts it about 16 million more than what we had it at 60.
Hmm.
So I took the over there. I win this week. But yeah, I was right about how I guess many people were waiting for the sequel to come out. It was marketed well, and I think it had star power, and I just think it worked. And so, thus, that's why it's your number one movie. It did pass Michael, which made 54 million this week. That's at 184. It's a hit, sadly, but
Yep.
mostly on the back of a first week. Number three, the Super Mario Galaxy movie made another $12 million. That's at 402 domestic. Project Hail Mary made 8.5 million. That's at 318. Number five, Hokum, which made $6.4 million this week. And way down at number six, no one really cared about Animal Farm, which debuted to only $3.3 million.
Yep. And then the other animal movie, Animal Friends, didn't even
Yeah.
rank. I don't know where
Well,
that
there you
went.
go. Don't know where that went. However, we have a
A
triplet.
slew of
Yes, a
slew of
triplet of
movies.
movies this week. Something for everybody.
There's
If you
four
like,
actually.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. There's another one I totally forgot about.
Yes.
First, we start with The Sheep Detectives, which we didn't even know what this was until we looked up the trailer for it. It looks like a very quaint film about finding some sheep, and the sheep are voiced by celebrities.
Yes. The shepherd reads mystery novels to the
Yes.
sheep, and then the shepherd dies. So the sheep,
Ooh,
having heard these mystery novels, decide to be the detectives themselves.
I see. So
Huge
yeah,
Jackman, I believe, is the
he's the
shepherd
shepherd, right? Yeah,
who also dies.
right. No spoiler. That's in the trailer, so you're good.
Yes. And they
But
have
yeah,
they figure out how he murdered, how he
I
was murdered.
forget who all the celebrity voices are, but yes, the sheep
Brett
are
Goldstein's
voiced.
in there, Patrick Stewart's in there,
Right.
Regina
Yeah, Patrick
Hall
Stewart,
is in
Regina
there.
Hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's your family entertainment this week. Next up, Couples Weekend.
I mean, this could be your family entertainment.
Eh, maybe
Well, do you like Josh Gad?
not particularly.
Do you like David Diggs?
Sure.
Do you like Alexandra Daddario?
Uh, in some ways.
Yes. All three of them, plus Ashley Park, star in Couples Weekend.
Okay. I don't know anything about this. Is it a comedy?
It's a dramedy,
It's a dramedy.
comedy drama. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Next up, if that's not palatable for you and you'd rather see a concert film, I've got good news for you. The Billie Eilish Hit Me Hard and Soft, the tour live in 3D. This is the James Cameron joint, if I remember correctly.
And you know it's going to make $1 billion.
No, it won't. But that is out this week as well. Wow, weird. I kept forgetting that this existed, and here it is.
That's because the last four movies James Cameron has put out have made $1 billion.
Is he really directing this, or is he just a producer on it?
No, he's listed as director.
He's listed as director for this?
He's listed as director.
That is wild. All right, Jim, do your thing, man. You got the money. And you really like Billie Eilish for some reason.
Hmm.
And then next up, video game fans rejoice. Another video game movie, Mortal Kombat 2. This is, of course, the sequel to the Mortal Kombat that came out during the pandemic. I want to say that was like a 2020 movie, right?
Yeah, it was a day and date release for
Yeah, on
HBO.
HBO Max. This time it is a theater's joint. And yeah, it already has the director out there being very defensive against negative reviews, saying that you shouldn't even review this movie unless you've played the games. And I'm like, oh boy, I don't like that vibe, dude.
What he's saying is that it's a movie for the fans of Mortal Kombat.
I mean, after Mario Galaxy, though, do we really need another movie that just is for video game people? Like, I don't
I'm
know,
going to coin
man.
a new term here. I've just made it up. I think.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure I didn't see it anywhere else. I'm going to
No.
call it fandering.
Fandering.
Pandering to the fans. You're fandering
Where is that actually from? Where did you get that? I'm curious.
here.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like that's an
Yeah, it doesn't
original
sound like it.
idea. Okay, well, we'll just say that you came up with it,
I like
even
saying that I
though
came up with it.
probably not true.
Probably not true.
All right. So those are your new releases. We need to pick somehow a number one from this mess. Is it a new film, or is it just, or does Michael rebound, or is this Devil Wears Prada for week two?
Um,
I don't know.
I don't know where this is gonna go. This is
Yeah.
honestly a crapshoot. So I think we don't do money because I am not gonna bet against James Cameron. I'm gonna put Billie Eilish as
Okay.
gonna fit number one.
That makes my job easier. I'm going to say Prada 2 holds on.
Okay, perfect. Don't
All
even
right.
put a
Done.
dollar value. Done.
Done. Called it. All right. Let's move on then into our movie story of the week, which we're talking about a monkey paw. No, I'm not talking about James Cameron making a Billie Eilish film after somebody cursed him with infinite success. No, I'm talking about Monkeypaw Productions. So, a month after Bad Robot cut its offices in LA, Jordan Peele's production company, Monkeypaw Productions, is slimming down. The genre skewing banner, which has a first look deal at Universal, has quietly let go of three members of its development team. The move has been described as a refocusing by those in the know. Sources also say that Peele wants to take a more hands on involvement in the development of projects. Peele re upped his deal with Universal in 2024 to distribute the company's films, but this deal was scaled back compared to the original one signed in 2019 after Get Out and Us. There is still no word on when Peele will follow up Nope, as the script for his follow up has been stuck in development limbo for years. I do think if you look at the performance of his films as well, there's a little bit of a staircase downwards effect going on here.
Mhm.
He has never quite reached the heights, both commercially and critically, after Get Out. And who knows what the future of his project and his studio looks like? But it looks like trimming a couple roles and trimming some scope is maybe what they needed right now.
Right, and Monkey Paws Production doesn't quite have the name that other studios do carry. That if you see that,
Yeah,
then you're like, oh, that's going to be a good film. Unlike Annapurna or A24, which both are now more buying films and creating films, which is a completely separate thing. Monkey's
yeah,
Paw Productions is at least producing these films. But
yeah,
considering one of their last films was Him, the football movie, the
yeah.
horror football movie, and that didn't perform too well. And
No
they're kind of stuck in this like genre horror bending. Um,
horror genre bending.
it's horror genre bending. They're all horror and thrillers,
Yeah.
kind of. But like without Jordan Peele stepping either in front of or behind the camera,
Hmm.
it seemed more producing. They're not churning out hits to keep the
Yeah.
production alive.
I mean, he seems like he's concerned about the quality level and wanting to
Hmm.
maintain it a little better. We'll see if that succeeds. We'll see if the refocusing per se works out for them.
Right, but he does, I think, still need to put out his next film. It was technically supposed to come out last year, but then got
Yeah.
delayed to this
Well,
year and then shelved indefinitely with no release date and no production start either. So who knows what that next film of his is even going to be or
yeah.
when it's going to be.
We will certainly find out.
All
All
right.
right. Well, that'll do it for the movie news, and that'll do it for the Media Boat podcast this week. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. If you want to see our video versions of the podcast, you can go to YouTube and search Media Boat Podcast to find our page. Like, subscribe, and click the little bell for notifications when new videos go live. You can also find us in audio form on podcast services of your choice. Just search Media Boat Podcast on those. You can find us on the internet. We're on social media at Blue Sky. Search Media Boat there. Twitch.tv/Media Boat is where you can find Mike play the occasional video game. And last but definitely not least, if you want to send us an email to ask us a question, give us feedback, yell at us, question us, whatever you want to do, email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. And that'll do it. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week for more. In the meantime, I don't know. Enjoy life. I don't know, man. Oh, celebrate your mothers on Mother's Day if you're here in the U.S. on a Sunday. Don't forget.
Yep, don't forget your mother gave birth to you.
Maybe. I don't know. You might be adopted. We don't know who we're talking to.
We don't know.
In
There is a
vitro. I mean,
mother
there's
out
all
there.
sorts of options here, like test tube. Like, who
Okay,
knows?
okay, Dolly, the sheep.
All right.
We'll be back
Anyways,
with more news, more
yeah.
thoughts, and more of us.
See you guys next
Okay,
time.
bye.